Dreams aren't magic tricks, they are blueprints. This is the Thoughts Become Things podcast, where we open the doors to that blueprint and desire to break poverty. Join Moses B. Arthur, the dreamer, the doer, the guy who builds systems from scratch. We are talking business, personal growth, spirituality, the whole shebang. Forget stuffy suits and boring lectures. This is about real talk, actionable steps, and a healthy dose of love and light to fuel your fire. Remember, it shall never be well with poverty. So get ready to turn those what ifs into oh yeah. Let's go.
I've been a public speaker and a knowledge merchant for the last 8 years of my life, and as part of the many things I do, I'm excited to always leave my fellow man better than I found them, and by extension the world a better place. And I get to do that when I have the opportunity to teach. And in the last 8 years, I think that one of the common, consistent questions that I have had a lot of young people ask me is, how do I discover my purpose? How do I know what I was born to do? I'm struggling with my purpose. I don't know what to do. I get that question a lot, especially when I have to do my usual speaking tours across the campuses, across the nation and the world at large. And I understand. I usually understand, because one of the most haunting questions a human being can ever ask themselves is, why am I here? And it's not just a question of survival. It's not even a question of success. It's a question of significance. From the beginning of time, every single man and woman has been born with a deep inner sense that life must be more than breathing in the normal air that they get. Life must be more than working jobs, waking up in the morning, going to work. Life must be more than collecting wealth. And life must even be more than dying. And so purpose is that more. That is in the deepest part of every single human being doing life. Purpose is the eternal assignment written in your DNA before the foundation of the world. Purpose, it is that eternal assignment written in your DNA before the foundation of the world. How do I know? In Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5 speaks concerning Jeremiah. It said, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. And before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nation. This means that if you're listening in on today's conversation, settle it in your heart. You are not an accident. Settle it in your heart. You are not an accident. Settle it in your heart. You are not a random collection of genes from your parents. You are a divine idea wrapped in human flesh. You are a divine idea wrapped in human flesh that God sent into this earth with a particular task for you to accomplish. And so purpose is not something that you invent. It is something that you discover. Purpose is not something that you invent. Purpose is something that you discover. In a world of self-branding and personal ambition, it's very tempting to think that we create our own purpose. But purpose is not man-made. It is God-ordained. Just like a pen was not created to hammer nails, your true assignment is not defined by trends. Your true assignment, people, is not defined by culture. It is defined by the Creator who formed you. Here is the truth that I want you to settle with yourself when it comes to purpose. Purpose is always bigger than you. Purpose is always bigger than you. If your dreams only revolve around your comfort, if your dreams only revolve around your fame, around your money, around your family, then you have not touched purpose yet. True purpose always serves others, and which is why, if you've been following my body of work over a period of time, one of the things that I always say is that live like the biggest brand in the world, Jesus Christ. He lived for other people. One of the biggest things any man can do for himself is to live for other people, because true purpose always serves others. How do I know? The Bible says in Matthew chapter 20 verse 28, it says that the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Which is to say that purpose is the part of eternity that God deposits in you for the benefit of humanity. I take it again. Purpose is the part of eternity that God deposits in you for the benefit of humanity. So my question to you today, as you're listening in on the conversation, is that what part of eternity has God deposited inside of you? Have you discovered it? Do you know it? And if you do, are you using it fully for the benefit of humanity? One may wonder, but MBA, how do I begin to trace my purpose? How do I begin to identify my purpose? I want to just share a few things that helped me in my own journey of becoming. A lot of you have asked me questions like, MBA, how do I know my purpose and all of these things. I want to just share a few life applicable keys for me that helped me begin to trace my purpose. So the first thing you need to understand is that your passions are clues. Your passions, they are clues to identifying your purpose. So what are your passions? What sets your soul on fire? What injustice do you see in your community and your environment that makes you restless? What area in your life or what area of your life do you naturally feel drawn to solve? That may literally be pointing you toward your assignment. Now, another thing you need to take note of is that your pain is a clue. Your pain, the kind of pain you go through, is a clue. One of the things I always say is that if you're journeying through life, always be proud to wear your scars as a badge of honor. Because many times God allows us to pass through hardship, not to break us, but to birth in us a ministry. Some of the times to birth in us an idea or a movement that will heal other people. So you look at a man like Joseph, his betrayal literally led him to feed nations in his day. You look at Paul, Paul's thorn gave him an unmatched grace. So your pain can reveal your assignments to you. Now, another clue that I would share with you that helps you to be able to trace your purpose is that purpose requires process. Purpose requires process. Every assignment God has given you must pass through seasons of obscurity. It must go through training. It must go through failure. It must go through refinement. All of those things, you need to see it through the lens of purpose. Moses spent 40 years in the desert before confronting Pharaoh. David was anointed as king, yet spent years tending to sheep and dodging spears. Jesus himself waited 30 years for a ministry that he did for just 3 years. So purpose matures in the soil of process. And so my question to you is that, how well are you tendering to the process that you're going through? Purpose matures in the soil of process. Now, another life applicable key to be able to trace your purpose is that purpose demands discipline. Purpose demands discipline. And oftentimes, it's not enough to know your assignment. You must give yourself wholly to that assignment when you come into a place of knowing. Because purpose without discipline becomes potential that is wasted. Purpose without discipline becomes potential that is wasted. Paul said in Philippians chapter 3 verse 14, he says that I press on toward the goal to win the prize for which God had called me heavenward in Christ Jesus. So how well are you pressing in toward your purpose? How well are you pressing in toward your assignment? It's very important that you grasp these truths that I'm sharing with you. The fifth thing to note is that purpose leaves legacy. Purpose leaves legacy. One of the things that I always say is that men die, but the echoes of the words and then the echoes of the lives they live on this earth does not die. So you may die, but your purpose lives on in the lives of the people you touched. Martin Luther King Jr. is gone, but his dreams still speak today. Paul is gone, but his letters still shape our faith as believers. Jesus was crucified, but his purpose brought salvation to generations. And so when you live out of your purpose, you write eternity into time. When you live out of your purpose, you write eternity to time. This morning, one of my affiliates across the world reached out and said, "Sir, I believe that you would live across generations because I just listened to the Coin of Heaven. If you haven't listened to the Coin of Heaven, you should probably search it out and go feed on it. It will bless you greatly." He said he listened to the Coin of Heaven and he's hit so much of a place of revelation, and he's just imagining what the next generation after him will feel like if they chance on that content. And so when you live out of purpose, you write eternity into time. It's very important. So one may wonder, MBA, how do I discover this purpose in practice? Practically, speak to me. How do I discover my purpose? The first thing I'll tell you is to look up. Yes, look up. Ask your creator. God created you. Ask him, have you gone before him? Because he knows the blueprint for your life. And so seek him in prayer in his word. Find out, why did you bring me here for? Why did you create me? So you need to look up. So I'm going to give you the 3 looks that I personally did, and it brought me into a place of great transformation as I understood my purpose. So you look up. The next thing is that you look within. You look within. You identify your gifts. You identify your passions. Sometimes even your pain, because they are not just random things that happened to you in your course of destiny. They are roadmaps. So you look within. So the first thing is to look up to God and ask Him, because He is our creator. The next thing is to look within. The third thing you need to do is to look around. Ask yourself, who am I called to serve? Who am I called to serve? The reason is because purpose is always about people. It is never about yourself. Purpose is not just a church word. A lot of the times people think that purpose, it came from a church. No. Purpose is not just a church word. It is the essence of your existence. A life without purpose is like a ship without a compass. It's always moving, but it will never arrive. And so today I want to challenge you, if you're listening in on the conversation, don't just live. Don't just exist. Find your purpose. Pursue it with all of your might. Now you see the kind of things that I shared earlier. If I was you, I would listen to it multiple times with a journal by the side and a pen. And I would want to audit my life and identify my gifts. Audit my life and identify my passions. Audit my life and know my pains. All of these things are keys to helping you identify your purpose. Purpose is not just you living. So I want to challenge you, find your purpose. Purpose with all of your might. Find it. And when you find it, protect it from distraction. Pour it out until the earth is better because you walked upon it. Because at the end of your days, the greatest tragedy will not be death. The greatest tragedy will be standing before God and realizing that you lived a life that was successful, but never purposeful. So I leave you with this question as we wrap up today's conversation. If you're stripped away of your job, if you're stripped away of your money, if you're stripped away of your possessions, if you're stripped away of your titles, what assignment will still burn in your heart? That, my good friend, is where purpose begins. I hope that this one blessed you. Comment, share with somebody who's been struggling to find their purpose, and let the message go viral. Let it bless someone. Remember, my good friend, that this is where purpose begins. Have a blessed day.
That is another episode down. Remember, dreams aren't wishes. They are seeds you have to plant, water, and nurture. Take today's golden nuggets of wisdom, sprinkle them with your hustle, and watch your garden of greatness bloom. Share your thoughts. Connect with MBA on all social media at The Moses Arthur. Don't forget to dream, dare, do, and remember, love and light are your superpowers. Until next time, go out there and turn those thoughts into things.